I should know?
Nah, just record it,
Let's do it.
Buster, welcome to Combos Court, man. How you feeling today?
My man, thank you for having me.
Anytime. We've done this before. It was a little different the first time, a little bit different.
Yeah, I think I was laying in bed last time we did it because we did it over the phone.
We definitely did it over the phone.
And yeah, I've done many podcasts while lying down.
For sure. Yeah, right. I know. I've seen your podcast, which is great. We'll get into it. A lot of my listeners know who you are. Some of them don't. We got a lot of new listeners, Buster. A lot of new listeners.
I love that.
Yeah, so just tell them what you do and tell them who you are. Actually, I was listening to your podcast, and one of your friends said you're a social media whiz kid. I guess that's the best way to describe it, but go ahead and describe yourself.
Yeah, I definitely I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I mean, my background is I started a basketball outlet called Hoops Nation.
Right.
I've hosted shows for the NBA. My background in high school was in broadcasting play-by-play sports. Pretty much every sport. And, on top of that, I do a little bit of social media work with NBA players, MLB, NFL, and kind of all of the above, little work in music, helping record labels distribute for hip-hop artists.
Cool.
A lot of different stuff. But
Yeah.
have fun on social media pretty much.
That sounds like a great job.
It's a lot of fun.
What intrigued you about the podcast game? And also, was that something you did on your own or you collaborated with somebody else? Like, how'd you get into the podcast game and why'd you start it?
So I was doing a podcast in 2017 over the phone. Every episode was over the phone because I lived in Connecticut at the time, nor did I have any resources to make anything happen in person. Nor, honestly, would it have been a great look to do it in person because I was 16, had braces. There are some things
but kids can relate to that.
There are some
Your
things that
demographic.
don't need to live on the internet forever, and the way I looked at that time was one of those things. Ended up stopping that for whatever reason. I think I moved to New York, graduated high school, was just doing different stuff, and realized a couple things. One, in podcasts, I look at it in terms of like how people consume any content, right?
Right.
Like, let's say each of us on Instagram, we probably follow over like around 1,000 people, right?
Right.
On YouTube, I'm probably subscribed to 100 people. On Twitter, I follow a lot of people. I'm only subscribed to like 3 or 4 podcasts, and I think that's a lot.
Not for me because I'm
but
really
you're in the podcast game. For the average consumer,
definitely,
which I was before I was doing the podcast, like I was subscribed to like a couple people, and that was it. And I think that's how most people consume their podcast because it's very time consuming. But for the people that do actually care about it, it's amazing. And by nature of that, it has the highest CPM out of any content in the world.
Yeah, I mean, podcasts, I think it's so great because people could just be on the go and listen to it. They don't have to be in front of their screen.
The video audio mix is great.
Yeah, that's true too. That definitely is great. What's your thoughts on screen time, like your whole generation, and do you think it's beneficial for somebody or even yourself to unplug once in a while, maybe take 1 day off, maybe take 2 days off, maybe take a week off? Do you ever think about that? Or even when you're on the train or in the Uber, just driving by, you see everybody like this on their screen, how do you feel about all that?
It's so funny. So just last week I started my little text messaging platform, and I sent out a text last night that was in 2017 everyone was like, I'm gonna sacrifice social media for my mental health, and this year everyone's like, I'm gonna sacrifice my mental health to gain these followers. So
that's a fact.
That's pretty much how I feel right now.
Okay.
But in general, I think it's a good thing. You just have to know when to stop consuming certain things. Because I think mostly the only problems with social media aren't like the actual screen time and how that's killing your eyes, because there are a lot of worse things you can do to yourself, and a lot of worse things that kids do to themselves than just be on their phones.
Right.
So I definitely think it's about making sure that you're consuming the right stuff. Like if anything makes you feel bad or worse than you logged on, mute them all. Like if you see certain friends like doing whatever, showing their highlight reels, and that makes you upset, I think any kid should just mute the majority of people on their phone. I do the same thing. I have the majority of people, even that I follow, muted. So it's like,
oh really?
Yeah.
You didn't mute me. Did you mute me, Buster?
I don't think you're muted.
Okay, that's good.
I don't think you're muted.
Okay, good.
Because you see me if I'm just.
I've seen you all right, good. And and I see the close friends popping up, so I know everything you're doing all the time because you're posted a lot.
Yeah, I love the close friends feature because I don't use Snapchat anymore.
Okay.
Personally.
Right.
So I pretty much use the close friends feature on Instagram as that. But yeah, I think it's really just about like consuming the right stuff on social, and then there's like, and then if you are, then you're just learning from it, and you're moving whatever you're interested in forwards, and you're engaging with the right people and meeting new people through social. I think it's great for that. But, obviously everyone doesn't always consume the right stuff for them.
Right. Buster, there's so many people trying to make similar pages to Hoops Nation over the years. Even people hit me up and they're like, I'm about to start this page, basketball highlights, send me a highlight, and all kinds of stuff. What do you think you did that separated yourself from everybody else to have this huge following?
Honestly, I think the main factor is just the consistency. Like, you see people, obviously, I get a couple hundred of those every week where it's like, yo, I want to do this and that. I want to be like, I just got one of those, I want to be the Hoops Nation of wrestling. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, you can do it. There's nothing stopping you from doing it.
Right.
It just
might
no
not, shortcut,
it just might not happen in 3 years.
Yeah.
And that's really hard to hear.
Yeah.
Like, really hard. I also think Instagram's at a point where it's not the platform to start on. I didn't even start on Instagram. I started on Facebook, and then I went to Snapchat from Facebook, not straight to Instagram.
Really? Where would you start today if you were starting over?
TikTok. 100%. If I was starting over, I would start on TikTok.
Yeah.
In the last 2 weeks, Hoops Nation has gained 250,000 followers on TikTok.
In 2 weeks?
2 weeks. 14
That's
days.
Crazy. So when all these follow, because it's a lot of younger.
Super young.
Yeah. So when they age, it's going to be next, most likely.
It's Vine 2.0. Vine 2.0 was going to come out 2 years ago. It didn't. TikTok bought Musical.ly, and that's Vine.
Instagram killed Vine, right?
Vine killed Vine.
Okay.
Yeah, they did.
There were certain people that were big on Vine, and they weren't anywhere else, and once Vine died, they were hurt.
But there are also people like Logan Paul that jumped over to YouTube, and David Dobrik crushed it on YouTube.
Right. I guess when you have a following, it's just a platform wherever you're at. And if you have the following and people message you, you could always switch over to somewhere else.
But you have to actually switch over. Like, there are some, like you're talking about, there are so many people that were huge on Vine and didn't make the switch.
That's crazy.
And that's that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Now they have to, if they want to, do it all over again from scratch. Whereas people like Logan Paul and Dobrik and whatnot, the second they started seeing Vine decline, they started uploading on YouTube and telling everyone to go watch them there. But the problem with Vine, to my understanding, was that since the videos are so short, you can't run ads on them. Right. So there's no way for the platform to make any money because you don't want to see an ad before a 6-second video.
Yeah, that's true.
Or even every 3 6-second videos.
Yeah, like even if it's 6 seconds, that's like half of the content you're consuming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's say a normal YouTube ad is 30 seconds on a 20-minute video. You're okay with that.
Yeah, exactly. I'll get through this. And sometimes you even have the skip button.
Yeah, sometimes you have the skip button after 5 seconds.
Yeah.
There's no skip button on a 6-second video.
Yeah.
And their content, imagine explaining a product in 6 seconds and then getting somebody to want to. It's impossible.
Yeah, it's so tough.
That, to my understanding, is why Vine died.
Got you. All right. Let's shift to basketball. Well, first of all, Buster says consistency, and I agree with him. If you want to start a page anywhere, if you want to start a podcast, if you want to start anything, consistency is the key for sure.
Yeah, nothing works at the beginning. Also, usually it's not profitable, even relatively short term. So that's also a tricky thing to understand. But then again,
well, if you're willing to do what nobody else is going to do, you could get to great levels. That's really what it is.
For sure.
Yeah. Who could hold, as Gary Vee would say, who could hold their breath the longest is really what it is.
Yeah, and I definitely believe in that. But I also believe that anybody can do it,
100%.
But nobody
in this
will.
day and age, especially, everybody got a chance.
100%. But
like what we're doing now, like you would have to be picked for this. Like back in the day, like there's like 6 people on 6 TV channels. Now anybody
you would have to be picked, and you would have to work for 20 years before you got picked.
Right.
So crazy. Yeah, we're so lucky in that regard.
100%. Let's shift to basketball, man. What do you make of the new look New York Knicks?
I like RJ. I like Julius.
Okay.
I like Morris. I like Alfred.
Okay.
I love Iggy, our 2nd-round pick, Ignas Brazdeikis. I love Fizdale. I love the Garden.
You love everything. It's
Will
perfect.
the Knicks win the championship? Probably not.
Win the championship?
Probably not.
Will they make the playoffs is the question.
I think they'll make the playoffs.
Think
in the
so?
East this year? I think they have a shot.
Stay healthy.
I think they have a shot.
I think, DSJ wasn't playing in the beginning, right? In preseason.
Correct.
They looked as a collective a little slow. I remember playing against the Wizards, but I think DSJ could break down defense. I think he's going to be huge this year, and I think he's in better shape. And I think he could really help them.
Super talented athlete.
Super talented.
Dumb hops.
And everything. Like, the game, he's kind of like, a Lance Stevenson and J.R. Smith. Not that he plays exactly like them, just so talented.
He's also aggressive like they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which is
exactly energy. Would you start him, or you like him?
I would start him.
Yeah, I would start him too.
For sure.
Yeah.
Especially as RJ is starting to get acclimated. I think RJ should come off the bench to start.
You know what? I had Alan Hahn on my pod. He said the exact same thing. That's crazy.
Yeah. I would do that.
How would that be for RJ's mentality? Like, I know he wouldn't like that. I know you're not supposed to cater to players, but in the NBA, you really do have to cater sometimes.
Don't cater to rookies though. Like that. This is the one time.
You got the old school mentality on this.
This is literally the one time that you don't have to cater to him.
Yeah.
Because the second you start him, he's a starter, and then if you take it back on him, then you're, being disrespectful to the that's what players think when that happens to them. Like obviously, we saw Carmelo Anthony go through the whole thing at the end of his career, but I think now is the only time you can respectfully bench RJ, and then when he's ready, I'm confident he'll start for the next couple of years.
Right. Hopefully for longer than that.
Obviously, but he's got to re-sign after that.
Yeah. So I've been seeing highlights of Luka and Porzingis, a crazy dynamic duo. But I know you're in the mix and you pay attention to a lot of things going on with the Knicks. What happened with Porzingis? Like, where did things go wrong when it came to Porzingis here in New York?
A lot of it's still unknown. My belief at the time was that it was for PR-related reasons because he had a couple ongoing allegations, and I had heard a little bit in detail on what had happened, what some people thought, who thought what. So were some people trying to just get money from him? What happened? And he also had injuries, so I think the Knicks, took the offer from the Dallas Mavericks and used it as a get-out-of-jail-free card, literally.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it worked out for both sides. I mean,
we'll find out on the Maverick side.
I think it's going to be. I mean, well.
If he stays healthy.
If he stays healthy, I think there's
contingent that he stays healthy, he'll be good.
Yeah.
As much as I don't want to like Porzingis because I loved him. He's now not on my team.
As a guy in the media, don't you have to stay like unbiased or not really?
I don't.
Yeah, Stephen A. Smith always talks
if
about.
If I worked for ESPN, I would.
Right.
But the cool thing is I don't. So I can say whatever I want about anybody, and then it's up to somebody. It's up to.
Well, you work with the NBA though. I guess that's not
as a show host. I'm asking these guys. I tell all the players I'm a Knicks fan.
Right.
I mess with them about oh yeah, when you play the Knicks tomorrow, don't beat them. Give Melo a couple buckets. Whatever it is. But yeah, when I'm actually giving opinions, like seriously, I really never even talk about the Knicks, because they're not relevant. But one day if they became relevant, it would affect my opinion significantly.
Right. Well, when you become president, you could change all the cap spaces.
That's
you
true.
You can make the Knicks, get them whoever they want, man. Just change everything.
Yeah.
How's everything going with that? Yeah. How's the campaign?
Campaign's been going good.
Okay.
I'm about to go on a college tour. Talk to all the college students. Might DJ a few frat parties, and then
wow. That's a new way to get in.
It's a new way to get in.
Yeah.
There are no other presidential candidates that are DJing frat parties.
Buster 2020. Go vote. All right. I heard you and Drew Hanlon talking. Great conversation. I actually listened this morning.
I appreciate that.
You spoke. I mean, you were featuring Drew, so you didn't really delve into what I'm about to ask you, but you spoke to running your own race. Can you delve more into that and just tell me what that means to you?
What was the context of the conversation?
Basically, Drew was. What was the context of the conversation? Just focusing on yourself and staying pace. Yeah.
I mean, I think, especially like we were talking about earlier with social media, there's so many ways to get super distracted.
Right.
Focus on what other people are doing and, focus on what's hot. But if you jump from, what's hot at the specific week to what's hot the next week and the next week and the next week with no consistency anywhere, then you're just going to end up right back where you started. So
and it's hard to build a following that way if you're not consistent.
Forget follow. It's hard to build a business. It's hard to, do whatever.
Right.
You gotta spend a lot of time on what you care about. Yeah. And, close your eyes.
Right.
That's it.
Right. For sure.
Yeah.
Stay straight ahead.
Drew knows that better than anybody.
It's funny to me how Drew started. He said he got the attention with the 3-ball and all the gimmick stuff. I didn't even know that. I thought he was always doing real serious great work. And
so funny, right?
I was like, that's how he started with the 3 basketballs, getting people's attention. It is a way to get attention. And what's funny about the 3-ball thing, I always tell people, that stuff is okay if you do it for 3 to 5 minutes. Now, when a kid watches that on Instagram and they're doing that for an hour and a half, it's just terrible, man. And that's why I make those videos, because I want to stop that.
You know what my favorite videos are?
What?
When the trainer whacks the kids with the foam roller as they're
make that
going
one.
up.
I might have to make that
As
one.
they're going up to the basket. It's so funny. It's like the most ridiculous thing ever.
Right.
Yet these trainers do it seriously.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I'll make a few more trainers. The people love that. The trainers be like videos. I saw your list. You had Steph as your MVP for this year.
Yes.
People love lists. They were killing me for mine.
Love lists.
People were killing me. I mean,
you know what? It's not that they love lists. It's that they love disagreeing with you.
They hated my list. I had Jokic at 3. They killed me.
Jokic at 3 in the top 10?
Yeah.
Projected
for this year.
That is bold.
I had Jokic at 3. So
you're putting Jokic over one of Anthony Davis, Giannis, Harden, Steph Curry, Westbrook, LeBron.
For sure. Well, no, not LeBron was 1 for me.
Okay, but I said you're putting him above a couple of those.
Definitely a couple of those. And watching AD in preseason, I might have had to change that one because he's looking really, really good.
Nasty.
Ridiculous.
As long as he stays healthy, though. That's the one question.
That's true. Well, that's for everybody.
Did health factor into your top 10?
Yeah, definitely. So I had who'd I have? Okay, I didn't have Westbrook on my list. I think he's great.
You didn't have him on your top 10?
I didn't have him on my top 10 because I think he's diminishing athletically and his jump shot is not the same. And I just think those guys are better than him. I had Giannis lower than others might have him.
Where'd you have Giannis?
7.
7?
Yeah.
The reigning MVP.
Yeah.
At 7.
You know what it is? Because once he gets to the playoffs, he's easier to game plan for than some of these other guys. Like even like a PG-13. Like how are you going to game plan for a PG-13? You can't. He's going to get off no matter what, right?
Right. You just have to combat him with other super talented players, which an LA Lakers could do. You know?
Yeah. No, for sure. So like Giannis, you could wall up. You could do different things in the playoffs to stop him. I think like James Harden.
Double, triple. Yeah.
Like Steph Curry, you can't stop that. LeBron, you're not going to stop him.
You can slow Giannis down. I think stop is the wrong word because you still look at his stat line.
Well, you can stop the team.
You can stop the team, yes.
By stopping him,
Slowing him.
Well, yeah. Any of these top guys, you're not going to totally stop him. I just think he's easier to contain and deep in the playoffs than these other guys.
And you're judging this top 10 off of how well they're going to help their team this season.
Projection for this season.
Not just their talent.
No, not just their talent. No, not just their
talent. Because Giannis would be number 1 talent-wise, right?
Well, not over LeBron.
You would put Giannis you would put LeBron right now over Giannis now, talent-wise.
Because all of the other stuff like the vision, that's talent. IQ, I put that into talent. Feel for the game.
I agree.
Passing is talent. Handle is talent.
And LeBron's in my top 3.
Do you know your top 10 by heart?
Not by heart.
Gotcha.
But I can give you one right now.
Yeah. Give me some. Well, Will's over here killing me. Give me some. When you did you post it first of all? My
top 10?
Yeah.
I didn't post top 10. I just posted awards.
Got you. So.
But I can say it right now, and then you can give me the written list, and then I can post that. I'm gonna put Steph Curry at number 1.
I've heard people say that before.
Giannis at number 2. This is this season.
How well I think they're not mad. I'm not.
How well I think they're gonna play. Let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
LeBron at number 3.
All right.
Anthony Davis at number 4.
Killing Kawhi right now.
James Harden at number 5.
You're really killing Kawhi.
Kawhi Leonard at number 6.
Okay.
7. I'm gonna go Jokic at 7. RJ Barrett, Ignas Brazdeikis, Julius Randle.
All right, so now he's playing. All right, Buster.
that was my top 7.
Come on, Buster. Well, wait. James was lower than some people have him. Steph at number 1 though. Why Steph at number 1? And I actually saw your list. You have him for this year's MVP.
That's why.
Think he's gonna be this year's MVP?
I think so. The last time he didn't have Kevin Durant, he was the unanimous MVP.
That is true, but the spacing won't be as good this year because Clay won't be there and
D'Lo will be there though.
D'Lo, I like D'Lo.
I think D'Lo will fill in for Clay. I think people are going to be surprised.
Yeah, you know what I really liked about what you posted there? Zach LaVine, most improved.
I got a lot of hate for that pick. That was the pick that I got the most hate for. One of the reasons I picked it was after spending a bunch of time with Drew, hearing the way he talked about Zach and how
workaholic,
dedicated.
Yeah.
And I've heard a bunch of trainers talk about NBA players that are not.
Yeah,
like
of course.
Some all-stars that don't
definitely
enjoy playing the game of basketball. And the second they don't enjoy playing it, I'm never going to recommend them for any award ever.
Yeah. No. I mean, but like some guys don't work at it. Like Shaq wasn't like a workaholic. You just
Good thing Shaq was 7'2",
yeah.
300, and the most dominant big man ever.
Right. Like Kobe was super talented, but he wasn't as talented as, let's say, some of the guys he surpassed.
Kobe was also 6'6",
Yeah.
6'5",
Right.
maybe.
Right.
Who knows
right.
with these new height rankings? Maybe he was like 4'9".
What's going on? What they're doing it without the shoes? Like that doesn't make sense to me. Like why does that make sense for the NBA to put that out? Because I think for marketing, it's just better for their guys to be taller. You know.
I think so too.
Yeah. What, they just want more transparency?
A lot of people were saying that some of the heights were inaccurately reported because only the top players' heights were coming out, which is a little bit odd.
That is odd.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know the answer to that one.
Yeah.
It's
All right.
interesting.
Look, I don't know if you knew about. I actually talked this on a podcast that isn't out yet, but they're starting the one shot for two rule in the D League. You know about that?
One free throw.
Yeah.
That's how we used to play. That's how you like play in any like influencer game or like high school game or anything like that. It's always 1 for 2. Yeah.
Right. So what would you like to see more in the NBA? A 4-point shot or that rule? If you had to pick one.
Definitely not that rule in the NBA.
But it speeds up the game, no?
I could care less about the game being sped up. I want free throw shooters, the bad ones, to have to get really good. I don't want anybody to get lucky hitting one, counting for two.
Or even three, to shoot a 3-point shot. Yeah.
I mean, that would be ridiculous. Could you imagine like Shaq getting fouled on a three, taking 3 free throws?
It would make them think about Hack-a-Shaq for a second, right? Like, should we foul him? He only has to make one.
So ridiculous.
All right. Clippers versus Lakers, 7-game series. Everybody stays healthy. Who wins?
I'm definitely interested to see how the Clippers play their rotation. I think some of it's still unknown. Like, where is Lou Will even going to come off the bench? Like, how's Patrick Beverly? How's Montrezl Harrell going to fit? Like, obviously health, but separate from health, like you said, I'm going to go Lakers. You're telling me healthy LeBron, healthy AD, healthy Kuzma, like top to bottom. It's unfortunate that they don't have DeMarcus Cousins anymore, but healthy Dwight Howard. You're giving me the okay. You're giving me the green light on a healthy Dwight Howard too. I think there's a lot of power there.
Yeah, healthy, and also
LeBron's hungry too. LeBron wants another.
And well rested.
Super.
So are you worried about
no
that?
Playoffs.
That's
the
ridiculous.
last time LeBron didn't make the playoffs, I wasn't even watching basketball. I don't even know when it was.
Bored?
I was definitely. Is
it close?
The problem is it's close.
Oh, what are you now? How old are you?
I'm 19, so I was born in 2000.
That's crazy.
So I was born in August of 2000.
He's been playing at the NBA.
He was drafted. He was drafted in June of 2003. So it's like unfortunately close.
You're a big Kobe guy, like.
Yeah, I love Kobe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for your age, you got to watch a lot of it.
A little bit of 24. Yeah, a little bit of 24.
Not
like
too much 8.
4 years, 24.
Not
no
too
8.
much 8.
No 8.
8, he was super athletic.
I believe it. I've seen the highlights.
Yeah,
but I didn't get to watch any.
You definitely see the highlights.
Love Kobe, though. He's a man.
Definitely. So you're 19 now. What advice would you give to your 14-year-old self? Is there anything you would do differently?
Anything I would do differently. I switched high schools at that age, so I would definitely care a lot less.
Okay.
Because I remember I was like super uptight for like 2 years because I switched schools, and it's like when you're at that age, moving, like I moved from Brooklyn to Connecticut, like had no friends, like it is the worst.
Right.
So I would definitely.
And the kids are just totally different, right?
Totally different.
Yeah.
Like it's a totally different vibe, which is I think in retrospect. Was amazing for me to see, like that there are different people, like people in different areas, like live differently, they think differently,
100%.
like
and that's why it's great you're traveling now.
That's why I love traveling,
and also it makes you appreciate New York too, right?
Tons.
Yeah. Because that's what I tell people. Like when I was playing, like just living in a different country, you just think back to New York. Like if I was in New York, I could do this. Like and now being here, I'm just so grateful for New York. While some of my friends are like, I want to move out of here. Like I'm like, why? Like this is the greatest place in the world. I know it gets cold in the winter, but.
Yeah,
that's me. That's my personal thought on it.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you on that. Yeah, but best advice I would give.
Yeah, I
mean, just punt school even further because I was a bad student then. But
get out of there.
But I still tried.
You didn't go to Podcast University?
I didn't.
Oh,
I didn't.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Me neither.
We
missed that one.
Yeah, we did. But yeah, I would definitely try even less hard in school.
Yeah,
Like, that's the honest advice.
I wasn't a school person.
Although that's terrible advice for anybody else. Terrible.
But for yourself.
But for myself.
Well, maybe not terrible. There's probably somebody out there, like a little buster. Like how people used to say you were the little Gary Vee. There's probably a little buster out there.
Granted, though, I think it's very difficult at that age to figure out that you are that.
Right. For sure.
Because it's one or the other, path-wise.
Buster, where can we find you, man?
You can find me on social media, at Buster, TikTok, at Buster, Snapchat, Nation of Hoops. Yeah, all these places. YouTube, Buster Scher.
Combo's on TikTok now, too. I don't post consistently.
Combo's on TikTok?
Yeah. I got the
Let's get you.
Yeah. I got to figure it out, though. I got to get better with the editing.
You want to make a TikTok after this? I have a funny idea.
I have it. Oh, yeah, definitely. Cool. Buster, man, thanks for coming. You're always welcome back on the show.
My man.
We're out.